Welcome to Shadow of Truth with your host Dave Kranzler from InvestmentResearchDynamics.com and Rory Hall from thedailycoin.org. And today is Tuesday, August the 18th, 2015. And we've got coming up in just a moment the doc from SilverDoctors.com. The doc also has SDBullion.com, your online precious metals dealer. And he also offers through SD Bullion the survival food along with lead bullion, your ammo. And he also has the newsdoctors.com where Eric Dubin is the managing editor.
Same as usual. I'm almost getting immune to the manipulation of the metals. I have to believe that there's something really ugly coming at us through the system, because they're not only are they manipulating the metals, which they've been doing for more than a decade, more than 2 decades, but they don't even try to disguise it anymore. It's blatant. It's out in the open. There's never any denials. And once again today, they took an axe to the price of silver. Silver was kind of flatlined overnight through the Asian trading, through the London trading, and a few minutes before 8 a.m. New York time, they started to go to work on silver. And amazingly, silver and gold didn't get the typical smack that they get when the Comex opened. They were taken lower marginally when the Comex opened, and then out of the blue, around 9 a.m. New York time, silver just did a cliff dive. And I searched high and low for any kind of news that would have been connected to it. You're going to see media pundits who are going to try and connect it to the overnight commodities bloodbath, but as we know, gold and silver are not commodities. They are monetary metals, and they get lumped into the commodities basket for propaganda purposes. But it was nothing other than a pure, unexplained paper dump of silver. And it's just kind of a wash, rinse, repeat thing. And gold is actually bouncing back to where it was before the hit occurred, as are the mining stocks. They were taken down initially with gold and silver when the NYSE opened, and they've bounced back as well. So
just goes to show that there's a massive bid for physical underneath.
Yes, that's correct, and that's why I'm really excited to talk to Doc, because
yes,
as we know, he was reporting confirmation of shortages in silver toward the end of last week.
Yep, that he was. Well, let's get him on the line.
I think it's a good idea.
Hello.
Doc.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing today?
Busy,
I know, man. I don't know what's going on, but I am like, God, I feel like I'm snowed under over here.
Yeah, market's down again, so buyers are coming out of the woodwork again.
There you go. Well, that's good.
Doc, how you doing? It's Dave Kranzler here.
Hey, Dave, how's it going?
Well, thanks. Kind of another day, another precious metals market manipulation.
Yeah, that's about it.
It's all good. It's all the same.
It's almost become so routine. I don't even know if my day would be complete without at least one manipulated smack on the metals every day.
Yeah, it's kind of like a boiling a frog in the water. It's not a big deal anymore, just the little 40-50 cents.
Yeah, ho-hum. It's good for you, though, because it sounds like your phones start ringing off the hook as soon as they take the price down.
Yeah, they sure do. I mean, it's funny. It's very interesting from the perspective you get from this side. You can really see human psychology in action.
Well, that's a good thing. Because it
really doesn't matter price down or up, as long as it's doing something, people are buying. If it's just consolidating around like a tight range, nobody wants to buy. But when their emotions start telling them the train's leaving the station, or else, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny.
Well, and that's kind of where I wanted to start, Doc, as far as what's going on right now Doc, with the premiums? Are they moving up? They moving down? They kind of stabilizing, or how's that? And I know that you like to use the 90% silver, the constitutional silver, junk silver, whatever you want to call it. I know you like to use that as kind of a guide.
Yeah, I mean, still the 90% has pretty much been no offer ever since July 7th. We keep calling around. I think we've got like maybe 1 or 2 thousand-face bags is all we've been able to scrounge up from the market in the last 5 weeks. I mean, it's pretty much not available anywhere unless you can find it from somebody who bought it from you previously.
Wow. And how does that? So I guess the premiums are they stabilizing? Are they moving up, or where are they at right now?
Premiums are pretty much stabilizing, other than the Canadian mint products and silver maples. They've jumped over the past week. Other than that, they've been fairly stable the last week or two.
And what's happening with the shortages? And I wanted to be specific about this because a couple of weeks ago, you had made mention of one of the large wholesalers having a bunch of empty warehouses. And
yeah, I mean, a lot of the authorized dealers and wholesalers have pretty much been cleaned out of everything that was stacked up in their warehouses. And I think we talked about it over the weekend that about a month ago, with that first big takedown in silver, all of the fastest movers in the U.S. market were cleaned out right away, really within an hour or two. And I'm talking about like Silver Eagles, 90%, Silver Maples, common 100-ounce bars like Royal Canadian Mint, Johnson Matthey, and that type of thing. But there are still the other world's mints coins were still pretty readily available, such as like the Royal Mint over in the UK, the Australian mints coins, some of the Perth products, like the Philharmonics and the Austrian Mint, the Armenian Mint. They make like the Noah's Ark coins, Libertads, things like that from the Banco de Mexico. And really, we've seen over the last week, all of those products have finally disappeared from the market and are not available anymore. Basically, just once investors, both with the premiums and or availability that they just can't get Eagles, Maples, they start turning to alternative products. And so now we're seeing that those are now pretty much sold out across the market.
now, are you not able to get these at this point?
Yeah, I mean, we can't get any further Mexican Libertads, can't get any further Noah's Ark coins from the Armenian Mint. The supply is almost gone on the Britannias. So, yeah, pretty much across the spectrum, they're selling out at the wholesale level on the other foreign mint coins.
My God.
What are the people that you talk to, authorized purchasers, etc., industry wholesalers? What are they saying about, or are they saying anything about the future supply? And I ask this in the context of Bill Murphy at GATA was told about a month ago or 6 weeks ago by a London silver trader that there were rampant rumors going around the LBMA that there was going to be massive shortages in September and October, and that refiners would have trouble getting any kind of raw silver or pre-refined silver that they could turn into blanks. Are you hearing anything like that?
I mean, we haven't specifically talked about that with our wholesalers and distributors. I mean, I really haven't asked them point blank that question. I mean, anecdotally, though, it sure wouldn't surprise me if that were to be the case. I mentioned in our update over the weekend that probably one of the two most popular and most common 100-ounce silver bars on a private mint level, they're sold through one single authorized distributor here in the U.S. And without naming their names, I think it was Tuesday, they were contractually expecting the delivery of 1,000 100-ounce silver bars, or 1 million ounces. And they delivered 30,000 bars, or 300,000 ounces. So about a third, a little bit less than a third of what they had been contractually obligated to deliver. And So that's not a blank issue. I mean, those are 100-ounce bars.
Right.
That's a significant difference. But when you fail to deliver 2/3 of contract, that's a default, or it would be in just about any other industry.
Right.
There's probably a force majeure clause in his contracts, just like there is in the Comex contracts.
Probably.
But what's
Wow.
interesting about that, Doc, and correct me if I'm a little bit off track here, if he's having trouble getting refined bars from refiners, that means refiners are having trouble getting enough of pre-refined supply from miners, silver miners themselves.
Right, exactly. And I think it's worth noting that a lot of investors in the community don't quite understand. They look at the Comex levels purely as a gauge of whether there's a shortage or not, and really not understanding that the wholesale, like the refinery, the minting market in the U.S., I mean, Comex is irrelevant to them. I mean, the only way Comex would be drained is if they can't source supply anywhere else. I mean, when you're talking about like Elemental Capital and Republic, the two largest refineries, mints in the U.S., it's nearly all scrap recycling. That's the type of silver that they're using to mint products. They're not, for the most part, they're not taking 1,000-ounce bars off the Comex. It's just too expensive, too cumbersome, and not as big a profit margin. And they're buying metal back, recycling, and that's part of their spread. So yeah, if you're following what I'm saying, you're not really going to see massive declines on the Comex until they can't get enough scrap supply. They can't get anything from the primary and secondary mines coming out of the ground. That's the point that the Comex is drained, not really before then.
That's actually a point I'd like to address really quickly here. I know we want to keep this short, but the problem with the Comex is that people look at the numbers that come from the CME and they think those are the numbers. And the fact of the matter is that every single report that you see about what's happening on the Comex originates with the banks who are the vault custodians and the market clearing banks. So you're talking about JP Morgan, HSBC, Scotia, and a couple others, but those three are the primary bank vault operators. And so I have always questioned the degree of validity of those reports because, and we've seen in every other aspect of their business lines, they've been actually convicted and fined for fraudulent business activity. If they're reporting their Comex data accurately and honestly, it would be the only business line in any of these banks that is being accurately and honestly reported. So if people look at those Comex numbers and think those are the numbers, they're being extremely naive or uninformed, i.e. ignorant. Because I can guarantee you, I would bet my last nickel that those numbers are not bona fide, and that I would bet that the inventory levels that they're reporting, especially in silver, the real levels, the unencumbered, unleased, unhypothecated inventory on the Comex is a lot lower than the numbers that they're showing.
I'd certainly agree with that. And I just add that regardless, even if they were real, which I agree with you that they're likely not, they're really irrelevant in the big scheme of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a big paper shuffle. I mean, as far as the metal that they supposedly have in the vaults, I mean, does it ever go anywhere? Do people actually take delivery? Are people actually taking delivery? I mean, if they are, it's very, very little. I mean, in particular, when you look at the sheer volume of trading that happens versus the volume of deliveries that happen, they're not in the same planet. They're not in the same. They're irrelevant. Or am I just way off base with that?
No, in fact, we used to take delivery of gold and silver bars off the Comex occasionally in our fund, and we did it. Last time we did it was in 2010 because the premiums on Silver Eagles had spiked up back then, and it was cheaper. We normally prefer to keep fungible silver and gold in our depository But it was cheaper to source silver at the spot price, on the manipulated spot price on the Comex, so we decided to take delivery of some silver bars. It took us 7 weeks to get the bars after the last delivery date. The last delivery date is the end of the month, and then the contract specifies a 3-day grace period in which your counterparty has to make arrangements either for you to send them a truck, like a Brinks truck, or for them to deliver it to your vault or to your depository. It took 7 weeks, and our counterparty was HSBC. And if our fund had been bigger,
that's why you don't see the mints really utilizing the Comex. I mean, that doesn't, when you have wholesalers and suppliers needing coins and bars now, you can't have delivery in 7 to 10 weeks and not knowing when you need it now.
Right, exactly. And that was the last time that we decided to take delivery from the Comex. It just can't be trusted. And I would have gone after them just to bust their chops legally for breach of contract. But if our fund was a lot bigger, I would have spent the money, but it wouldn't have been worth the time and effort. But I was shocked because it took 7 weeks for that delivery process to happen.
So what happens when you're dealing with paper instead of physical?
So what happens when you're dealing with criminals on the other side?
Well, that too. Well, Doc, what's going on with your customer base without giving any details as far as, I mean, are you seeing any large orders coming in, or is there anybody at all? Is there anybody selling anything back to you? I mean, I doubt they are, but I mean, there's a possibility.
We actually have had a few customers this week selling some coins to us on the heels of a gold and silver popping a little bit, and that's really the first we've seen anything in probably 6 weeks. Before this week, I can't even remember the last time we had a single purchase back from a customer, which is quite astonishing. So we have had that come back this week. We've had continued large purchases, large purchasers, still a lot of new customers to the market, but we're not really quite at the level of buying frenzy that we saw early to mid-July.
But are you seeing a kind of a spike at all, or what kind of movement are you seeing with new customers? I mean, because I published an article from, I believe it was Money Metals Exchange about a week or so ago, and they had some kind of massive 350+% movement to the upside of new customers, new orders during the second half of July and the first week of August. I mean, are you seeing anything like that as far as new customers are concerned?
Yeah, I haven't specifically analyzed the numbers recently, but I know in July we did have quite a big, massive spike of new customers as well. Unfortunately, I don't have specific numbers to give you. I haven't looked at it and calculated it, but yeah, we certainly also saw the same thing of a lot of brand new investors in precious metals entering the market really over the past 6 weeks.
Well, that bodes well for all of us, doesn't it? I mean, wouldn't you say that there's more? That means that more people are tuning in and waking up.
It certainly does, and I mean, a lot of them are large net worth investors, which is, at least to me, another anecdotal sign that we're closer to the bottom. If we haven't bottomed already, then obviously to any top or anything like that, that the smart money is now entering physical metals.
Now, as you know, I not only have the Daily Coin, but I also assist Sean with SUT Report, and as such, I visit probably 75 to 100 news websites a day, and I'm not exaggerating. and in that, I look at comments. I go to the comments section, and what I'm seeing is that, and these are all over the place as far as people are questioning all of this conversation that we're having right now, and because they're able to go to eBay and get whatever they want, they're able to go to this online dealer or their local coin dealer, what do you say to that?
It really is just a matter of perspective. I mean, we've seen the same thing on SilverDoctors. Our post over the weekend, we had all kinds of comments saying, "Oh, well, you're offering Silver Eagles right now for $2.99 any quantity, so obviously that there's no shortage." I mean, it's really just a matter of perspective. If you want 2 coins, yeah, you'll likely be able to get that from us, whether it's SD Bullion or any other major dealers or your local dealer currently. But I mean, to put things in perspective, I mean, when us or another dealer, we list a special on Silver Eagles right now. I mean, a few weeks back, with some insight, we placed what was for us is a decent size inventory order, and I mean, we might be down. I haven't looked at the numbers, but we might be down to 5,000 coins. That's like 10 monster boxes, which is nothing.
It's not very much.
I mean, when you look at the investment wealth in the U.S., what is a couple $100,000? I mean, it's not even a pinprick. It's nothing in the big scheme of things. I mean, so whether it's SD Bullion or APMEX or any other major dealers, I mean, look at the 100-ounce bars, whether it's us or any established major dealer. I mean, typically there's hundreds of 100-ounce bars available. I mean, for the average investor, pretty much as you can buy, and they're now all sold out. They're gone. You can't find them for the most part. So I mean, it's really just a matter of perspective. I mean, the U.S. Mint has been eking out a small amount of production the last couple of weeks. It's been going down about 20% per week. I think the first week they resumed sales, their total allocation from all the authorized dealers was, I think, 1.4 million coins. The next week it went down to 1 million. Last week it was down another 20%. I haven't heard the numbers yet this week, but it's been going down by 20+% a week. The Royal Canadian Mint didn't even take any orders last week, and they're not advising when they're going to take any further orders for maples. The U.S. Mint has been they haven't out and out said it, but they've been advising their authorized dealers that they may make the switch over to the 2016 Silver Eagles in September, which
well, that allows them to halt production and try to build inventory of blanks.
Exactly. I mean,
it's acknowledgement of a shortage,
right? Because they don't want to come out and say that they're just going to shut down production for 3 months, because I mean, it doesn't take 3 months to change the obverse die on Silver Eagle from the 2015 number to 2016. I mean, any private mint can get that done in an hour. So yeah, I'm sure they have more presses than a private mint. They've got a few presses that all run the same die. That maybe they have 20. I haven't been to the U.S. Mint. Maybe they've got 20, 40 presses, but it doesn't take 3 months. Even in the past, that switchover usually, which is to me a stretching thing, that's happened early to mid-December, not September. So we'll see whether that in fact does take place, but that's what they've been warning the authorized dealers, that they may do their switch over in September.
Wow.
I've got.
So, I mean, if that happens, you are going to see premiums that look like what they did in 2008, in my opinion.
I agree with that. And I've got one real quick observation, one quick question, then maybe we can wrap this up unless Rory has anything else. In terms of your comment there about, yeah, you can find small size of coins and whatever around, either at your local dealer or online, but it's very difficult to source anything in any kind of size. And that's consistent with what Bill Murphy's trading contact in London has said. He said, and it's been this way in gold for a while, where if you want to buy any kind of real size, not like $1 million or $2 million worth, but institutional size orders, it takes a couple weeks in order to find that size of gold. And the same thing is now, he's telling Bill Murphy the same thing now about silver. It's very hard to find any kind of meaningful size that's offered on the market. And then the second thing is just to sort of circle back to your comment about, people trying to judge what's going on in the market by looking at premiums on silver and small size of Silver Eagles or whatever. What would you say would be, if they wanted to look at anything to try and gauge what's going on in the market, is there any product that you think is the sort of the best barometer of what's going on. And I was kind of thinking it might be the so-called junk bags of dimes and quarters, the 90% bags.
Yeah, I've always said that's the leading indicator. When you see premiums spike in 90% and then availability disappear, to me that's always been the leading indicator that things are getting tight or going to get tight, and premiums are going to go up rather than the other way around. I mean, the main reason being that it hasn't been produced in, 50, 60 years, and there's no new supply coming to the market. So if investors aren't selling any coins and either investment 90% silver, there's just none to be had. And we saw that in really the week before the big smash down, really around the first week of July. Premiums 90% spiked. It then went, I think around July 6th or 7th, it went no offer at really the largest market maker in 90% in the U.S. on the wholesale level. It's been no offer ever since. And I mean, I had a conversation, it's been a couple of weeks ago now, asking if they had any to offer yet or what they were asking. And the head of their trade desk basically told me that, yeah, we're basically no offer. I mean, I could sell you coins at 8 weeks out at $6 over spot, but you're not going to want that or be interested in that, so might as well not even have the conversation.
So if we have tight supply or no supply on the 90% silver, and there's obviously supply constraints on the 100-ounce bars, because you just said that one of the authorized dealers contract came in 2/3 short.
Right.
So
to me, really, probably the next indicator, what you see is Silver Eagles. And the Silver Eagle premiums are not quite what they were about a month ago, when the mint totally stopped selling coins for 3 or 4 weeks, and basically everybody panicked, and it caused a big price spike. The premiums have backed off a little bit over since that, as the mint has resumed pushing out a few coins every week. But when you see Silver Eagles disappear, the implications are that everybody runs to whatever else they can find. Generic coins. I mean, Sunshine Mint coins right now, they weren't taking orders at all until this week. Now, if you want to place new orders from the Sunshine Mint for their rounds, they're advising like late October for delivery.
Late October, and we haven't even gotten to September.
Yeah, this is as of mid-August. They're advising late October is estimated delivery for new 1-ounce round orders. And as it's well known, Sunshine is the mint who mints the blanks for the U.S. Mint. So, I mean, it's really speculation whether the U.S. Mint is advising them, hey, you're giving us every blank you can crank out. I mean, it's really just be speculating on my part, but so I mean, that's what you're looking like. That's what things are looking like on the wholesale market. But you haven't seen a 2008 style spike in premiums, as really spot prices have been quiet for the last 2 weeks. If we saw right now, I mean, silver is down quite a bit here today. It dropped down to 1480, a little bit under 1480. Mm-hmm. If we saw silver revisit the lows of a month ago, and especially if they broke them, there's no inventory sitting around. You would see premiums move big time right now.
So if the 10, you said you believe you've got maybe 10 monster boxes, 5,000 coins. So when those are gone, then what?
Well, I mean, it's really depending on if the U.S. Mint continues to eke out a few coins each week. I mean, once they shut down production, anybody who hasn't built up a stockpile, they're instantly sold out, and it's not going to take long for any dealer who's, say, you've stashed 300 boxes. I mean, the market finds them pretty quick, and they're gone.
Sniffing them out like a bloodhound.
Right.
Well, Doc, I certainly appreciate all your time. Dave, have you got anything else for him?
I do not, other than we really appreciate you taking the time from your busy day to give us some color on the market.
All right, my pleasure. Always good to talk to you guys.
Same here. We'll check back with you in just a few weeks, Doc, and see what's going on, in particular with the Sunshine Mint and with the authorized dealers.
All right, sounds good, guys.
All right, buddy. Have a good afternoon.
See you soon, Doc.
You too.